¿Qué pasa, familia de Dinero? I'm your host, Hotcher, and I know I'm changing up the game with the name, and you're probably like, wait a second, that's a shame. What happened to Champion El Dinero? Listen, it was very difficult in order for people to kind of like say that name, and Hotcher is actually a name I've already used here on YouTube, and I have a much bigger channel that, I just left alone to die. You could go on there, it's fine. You'll probably find it funny, especially the podcast and whatnot. But that is the other channel. This one's going to be my main focus. Obviously, I've been more consistent on it here. So from now on, don't call me Champ. Call me Tim, Hotcher, whatever you want to call me. Hotch, Hot, anything. All right. Just if you want to call me Hot. You could go ahead and do that. Now, with that being said, let's get that all out the way. If you are a subscriber, already a part of the family, I want to say a huge shout out to you. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for hitting that like button, because I know you did. And if you're a new viewer, well, all I ask for you to sit back, relax, buckle up, and because we're going to be talking about SOFI and a lot of the things that you probably need to know or already do know, but you just want to reiterate to make yourself feel better. But my daughter has something for you.
Thank you for watching, and subscribe our video and like.
Thank you. And if you are wanting to be shouted out in this video, make sure to leave a comment down below. And we got some haters. Typically I always do positive, but our last video that I got, we have Christopher Allen saying there's the clown bag holder holding till 0. So yeah, I'm an absolute clown. I love it. Anyway, we also have Poor Rashidi. So we're gonna be reading this one, and it's kind of like an IQ. Some brain cells just must have not connected. But they said, I thought you never wanted to make any vid on Hollow anymore. And then I said back to this person, if you think that this is a video about Hollow, I don't know what to tell you. They said, well, you don't need to tell anything. Number one, this is my channel. Not only did you talk about Hollow in this vid, but also you put Hollow stock in the title. Now, I realize that there's individuals that don't use the full capacity of their brain. I understand that fully. And obviously, the funny thing is that you displayed yourself on the internet and your photos right there. And you know what? I screenshotted it. So now, my thing is like, number one, this is my channel. Number two is I'm not dedicating a full video for Hollow, right? Now, Fantasy Penny Stock Football, I've always been putting it into my Fantasy Penny Stock Football. I have to talk about it unless I sell the stock or something else. Now, I'm going to put it in the title, but the video was not all about Hollow. If anything, I spent less time on the dang gunning thing than anything. I could have put micro algo. I get the same amount of views, 300-400 views. I'm not monetized. Okay. I'm being true to my word, but again, it's my channel. If I want to talk about Hollow, I can, and I can be like, hey, you know what, guys, I'm gonna talk about Hollow, but I'm not. I'm talking about SOFI. Anyway, so like I said, I jumped onto SOFI back in August, and I got in at $6.83 or 87 cents. Either way, I made about a 55% return, and I thought this was going to be a long play. I do concurrently bank with SOFI due to the fact that I use their high yield savings. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. It is a high recommendation on YouTube, and also a well-known stock to kind of delve into. A lot of people probably bought it when it was around, like some of it at its highest. Sometimes people have bought it at its lowest, like myself. And to see it go up in such a fast time period, some people think like a month or two is not a fast time period, but for me, it is. I was looking at this as a long-term play, not anything fast. So we're going to delve into exactly what's causing SOFI to go up. Is it a rally? Is it kind of a random spike or anything like that? No, there's a catalyst. We have some big buyers in play. We have earnings that are coming up, I believe, next Tuesday or Wednesday. And the estimate is blown out the water comparable to what they estimated for this year. Okay, so SoFi Technologies, this is like a synopsis of exactly what SoFi is. If you're somebody that has been seeing it all week, what exactly is SoFi? Why does it make it different than a lot of other banking? We have SoFi Technologies Inc. provides various financial services in the US, Latin America, and Canada. It operates through three segments: lending, technology platform, and financial service. It is based in San Francisco, CA, comes under financial services sector, and trades as SOFI, ticker at NASDAQ. SoFi ended larger weekly corrections at $4.24 lows in December of 2022, resumed higher. It favors upside of one of III or three, and confirms bullish sequence when it breaks above July 2023 highs. So the highest it's ever made it, I believe, back in 2021 is $28. So it's definitely fell from grace, and this breaks down the price. So this breaks down on top of massive SoFi stock rally incoming after Fortress News. This is from Market Beat. And then most investors will focus on banking stocks or even consumer discretionary stocks. We're realizing that the Federal Reserve's, the Fed, has just started cutting interest rate at the most aggressive pace in 16 years. The reason is that as financing becomes more flexible and available, consumers trends may strengthen, and they actually have. So that was a very weird, oddest sentence. So if you guys are unfamiliar, pretty much about a month ago or last month, they did a 50 basis point cut. And so that benefits banks, and that allows people to take out money at a lower interest rate. They don't have to deal with the high interest rate. So you have a lot of individuals that have a mortgage that they bought at a high interest rate in hopes that, okay, I'm going to lock in this price, but I'm going to pretty much wait until I build equity within my house and then refinance and get a better rate than the current one that they have. And honestly, the housing market has been boiling. And so we could see that it'll be better for individuals in the banking industry, because they're going to be like, okay, where is going to be my best price that I can get in on? And SoFi, as we broke it down, has many sectors. And of course, in the app that I have, you can invest, you can lend, you can do many things within the app. It's not just your typical Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, anything like that. And so SoFi is definitely building up, and they have their earnings right around the corner next week, which is a perfect time. Now, of course, you have it being priced in at a 25 basis point cut when the Feds meet right before the election. And so with that being said, if they were to go 25 basis points, which they should, again, the Federal Reserve might do 50. I think that'll be catastrophic to the economy. They might even do 0 because of how fast inflation is coming down. We are actually afraid to touch deflation. Now, you probably think, oh, that's great. Deflation is great. No, it's not. It's actually horrible, because at that point, deflation, how can I explain this? Deflation. Okay, I don't like to fake things. It was hard for me to come up with the concept of why deflation, and pretty much deflation can worsen the inflation, because it can lead to a downward spiral that harms the economy in many ways. Decreased spending, lower production, higher debt costs, more difficult to combat, reinforced by vendors. So these are all components. I was just really going to say decreased spending, lower production. That's about it. But I wanted to give you guys the reality that, okay, hey, I'm going to look this up and get all the facts. Of course, this is AI, Google AI, but that is the concern when it comes down to the basis points. If it's going to be 50, again, it's probably very bullish in the stock market, especially with SoFi. If they get 0 to 25, that means that the economy is actually not going to get into depression or anything like that. We have pretty bad economic data that came out today, but when it comes down to SoFi and why it might actually go astronomical is due to the fact that we have SoFi earnings that are mainly kind of being brought out that it's going to beat a lot of expectations. We have individuals that are actually kind of upping their expectations as the day gets closer and closer. So when is SoFi Technology earnings? It's going to be Tuesday. So it is Tuesday, October 29th. What guidance has SoFi Technology issued on next quarter earnings? SoFi Technology updated its third quarter 2024 earnings guidance on Tuesday, July 30th. The company provides earnings per share guidance of 40 to 40 for the period compared to the consensus earnings per share estimate of 30. So they only beat it by little. The company issued revenue guidance of 625 million to 645 million compared to the consensus revenue estimated of 610 million. Now, you would think that's really good, but if we looked at like Nvidia, if you guys follow Nvidia, the earnings in Nvidia did not blow it out the water until now. We're just now seeing Nvidia do fantastic. For how long? Hopefully for the long period. We finally broke the 30. It took God so long to break the 30. Did SoFi Technologies beat their earnings estimate last quarter? They did, but they did not beat it very far, as I mentioned. How can we listen to SoFi Technologies earning call? You can listen to their conference call here. And if you guys want this is going to be their you have to register and everything like that, but I'll actually be listening to this call. If I am able to go live, I will on Twitch. How can I read SoFi Technologies conference call? So this is going to answer all your guys' questions. I wanted to bring this up to you, but again, the biggest catalyst is that, okay, we have the basis points cuts. We have another possible 25 point basis cut coming up in November. We have the catalyst of pretty much a bull run when it comes, and to be honest, September and October for the market overall has not been as bad as it could have been, especially with all the economic things that went on. We had the port strike that lasted incredibly a short amount of time. We had Iran and Iraq. We had pretty much a lot of financial stress that came, but the stock market held its own. The biggest time that we saw a dip was actually August 5th, which is crazy because that is a substantial day to me personally. So it's crazy that it happened on that day, but it happened on August 5th. So when it comes down to SoFi, what price point can we see? Obviously, we've seen it go up to 28 back in 2022 or 2021. If I can find that, it was $28.26 in February 2021. Just the amount that we've seen, I want to be realistic. I think that by the end of this week, we could see about peaking $11 to $12, leading up into the earnings call. I can see that it might get to possibly stay at 12, possibly get to 13. But when it comes down to earnings, I don't think that the market responds in a positive way. Typically, it's rare at this point this year, because we've seen that earnings doesn't mean a whole lot. We see that news is what's driving, sentiment is what's driving the price up. Of course, it has a rally, right? Nvidia had a rally, but it's the 1% institutional big buyers that get in before the news. They buy the rumors, then sell the news, right? So to me is we might see a good upside if you have a good average. I don't see it dropping all the way down to $6 if the expectations of estimates is actually aligning. But the only concern is, of course, big buyers. Are they going to move out once they make the money because people are buying into FOMO? So that is something that I would actually have on your mind when it comes down to getting into this stock. Do I see $10 as a good buy-in? I'm going to be honest. I will wait. And I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I a crystal ball. Not a financial advisor, not a crystal ball. But when it comes down to a $10 price point, seeing where I got it in at and where it is now, is it worth it? $10? It could be. It definitely could be worth it. The only thing is that I would like to see possibly lower, maybe a 9, maybe 8. That's where I would have been comfortable. But $10 for some reason, I feel like it's on glass. I feel like it can break. What was the potential? Will we get up to 11, 12? If I see a little bit more upward trajectory by the end of this week, I would buy in more. Me personally, I would buy in more around maybe 11, 12 and my average will still be around that $8 to $9 range where I feel comfortable, where I think support lies. Now it can fall, but if it falls, I'm good for the long term. This might come around again, and SoFi could definitely show up. I believe in the company because I am a consumer. I'm somebody that has a savings account with SoFi. I like what they're doing. I've had SoFi for, I believe, like 2 years or at least a year. Really been using it these past few months, and I just said I might as well be an investor in something I use, and it did good. It did good in my portfolio. So this is kind of the things that you have to implement. You can't just look at the stock just for the rally, but you also have to look at the Federal Reserve meeting that's coming up and the conference call that's coming up. Sometimes the sentiment is what drives the stock up. If they think that SoFi might bust open and just go crazy, then you would, again, that's why I say I want to see an upward trajectory when it comes down to it. I think that today it was a little stale. I'm not too happy. If we look at overall today's on Fidel, typically I don't use this platform, but if we look at a grand scheme of today from the 1 day, it didn't really move too crazy in my mind. And from yesterday to today, let's see, we had Monday the 14th open. It was $9.60, close at $10. That's fantastic. But of course, I'm more so from the penny stock version of things. If you get in at on Monday from now, and then now it's $10 to what it was, $10.50. I kind of want to see, do we have real support? Do we have real support before I keep buying in? I think that tomorrow I'll see where it goes, but that $8, if you get in at $8 on October, the beginning of October, you have been fine. But you would have to see the time distance. I think that there's a rush right now, and tendency is that people that bought in at a certain time, they will sell off, and then there's concern, and then you have big time institutional buyers scared, and by Monday they'll sell off right before close of the market. It's just how I've seen it, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I think that it has enough supporters, enough rally, but there's a lot of space from now to earnings, and then typically it's not until the day after that we really see where the stock is going to move. So to me, SoFi, it's a great stock. I have it. I told you my entry was $6.83 back in August. And so I think I get in at a time that I was just like, you know what? I might as well go ahead and buy it. But this video has been way too long. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully I've been spitting facts in this one. If not, hit that like button. If so, hit that like button. And I'll catch all of you, familia de dinero, in the next one. Adios.